All right. Welcome to a new episode of Monkeys with Mouths. Today, I was at the gym and I just looked up the news. I can swipe right on my phone and then you can see the news. I think it's called, I don't know, but it's like a little board. Most phones have it. And this article from Axios popped up. This is going to be interesting. So this article, I'm just going to read it and give my opinion about it. This article says, Biden aide charges sabotage of Harris. So the beginning says, top White House officials are mobilizing to defend Vice President Kamala Harris amid gusher of leaks about dysfunction and infighting in her office. So remember last year, or even 4 years ago, 3 years ago, the whole time there was always talk about dysfunction between Trump, Pence, and just the campaign. That there was always just craziness going on. Nobody talked about anything. And then later on it came out to be that Pence would basically invite himself into the meetings because Trump wouldn't invite him. And he was like a fly on the wall because he just listened to anything. Trump really wasn't a good treater of vice president. At least that's the last article that I read. I can't speak on the veracity of it, but that's what I read. So I'm going to take that as the last fact. I may be wrong. And if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. Just write in the comments. Continue reading. Driving the news, White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain told Axios in a statement, the president's trust and confidence in her is obvious when you see them in the Oval Office together. Biden senior advisor Cleric Richmond said in the interview late Thursday night, it's a whisper campaign designed to sabotage her. It says some White House officials have been frustrated by the series of missteps from Harris and increasingly public bickering of her orbit, which spilled out in a political story on Wednesday. Flournoy's old boss, former President Bill Clinton, came to her defense with a statement saying that she was an extraordinary person. So why does this matter? Here it says that it matters because Biden says that he will run again in 2024. He's going to be 81. I don't think he's going to run again. I wish the best for the man, but I don't think he's going to make it to 2024. So Kamala will be the woman running for president. You really think Kamala's going to win? There's no way that Kamala wins. She dropped out of the primaries because she got 0 votes in California, 0 delegate votes in California. Nobody wants her. She's an evil woman. She's awkward. She laughs in the awkwardest situations. She's not a good person. It took her 6 months to visit 6 months in office to visit the border. And she only visited it because Trump was going to visit. So to do it before Trump did it, and there was a bunch of posters, people telling her to leave that nobody wanted to her. Here it says, an operation sometimes visibly out of sync with Biden's and missteps during a recent trip to the U.S.-Mexico border following scrutinized interview with NBC's Lester Holt have ignited questions of Harris's 2020 primary bid. So I think she went to El Paso, which isn't even the place where the border crisis is happening. That's like the best place to go because it doesn't have that much of a border crossing. At least that's what I heard online. She's an awful person, political candidate, just in general. Some Democrats close to the White House are increasingly concerned about Harris's handling of high-profile issues and political tone deafness. They question her ability to maintain a coalition that Biden rode to the White House, sources tell Axios. What are we hearing? Relations between the West Wing and the Vice President's office are tense. Several administrations officials used explicative, when describing Harris's office, in contrast her operation with disciplined, virtually leak-proof Biden aides. Well, of course, okay. Anything that happens with Biden is going to be completely quiet. Nobody's going to talk about it because Biden is not there. They have to keep it super tight because Biden is not mentally there. If you see it, you see it. Everybody knows that Biden is not mentally capable. Everybody knows. Case in point, a few months ago, what should have been a no-brainer of a press request came from the vice president's office. Forbes wanted to feature Harris on the cover of its 50 over 50 issue. saluting her rise to be the first woman, the first black person. This is a joke. And the first South Asian American to become U.S. vice president. She's the first woman and the first black person ever in history, ever. Kamala Harris is the first black person ever. That's impressive. That's quite a feat, I have to say. It's quite a feat on her end to be the first black person and woman. The vice president ended up participating in getting glowing treatment, but Biden advisors couldn't understand why it had to be this hard. People familiar with the incident tell Axios. Basically, it says, okay, her team is saying she's delivering for the American people on immigration, small business, voting rights, and economic growth. This is what her team is saying. The results speak for themselves. A decline in border arrivals from the Northern Triangle, improved vaccine equity, and increased economic opportunities for women. Well, that sounds like BS. She's done an awful job at the border. It took her 6 months to visit. She's done absolutely nothing. The border crisis is still going on. They're illegally, basically they're smuggling people from the border to different states during the night on planes. It's not a good job. She's awful at her job. But yeah, I just wanted to see that. And then there's this other article which said that Biden is half of Biden's campaign, or half he's lowering inequity in women pay gap by having more women in aides or as staff in his campaign, which I don't have a problem with. Here it says Biden backs from. Oh no, never mind. I just don't care. I don't think anybody really cares about this. You hire. What did Martin Luther King said? He said, "I have a dream that." I don't know, but it was he basically said that judge people by their merits. Don't judge them by the color of their skin. Judge them by the content of their character. And what's happening now, it's the complete opposite. Kamala is only vice president because she's the first woman, she's the first black person ever. But it's absurd. Like, it's genuinely absurd. She's terrible for the job, and you can clearly see that she's terrible for the job, but somehow Biden still got her. She's in the second most powerful position in all of government. It's just, I don't know, it's infuriating because they hire people not based on skill. They're hiring them based on skin tone or based on just gender, and it's absurd. And now Lori Lightfoot, the governor I think she's the governor. She may be the mayor of Chicago. She's an awful worker. She's an awful governor, and she is a black lady. But in a recent interview, she said, 99% of the criticism against me is because I'm a black woman. Like, no, it's not. It's because you suck at your job. Crime is increased. How much was it? I heard on the news it's like 77% crime increase in these places. I saw another article. It said that the U.S. 2021 is rising to be the most death-ridden and crime-ridden year ever. So, I don't know. Just came on here. I wanted to read that article and just to say how bad Kamala Harris is, and she's never going to win in 2024. Trump basically confirmed that he's going to run, which is pretty exciting. DeSantis met up with Biden, and I don't think there was any beef. It was pretty chill, their meeting, which is good because the longer DeSantis waits, I guess, is going to be better, because if he waits, or if he jumps in and says like he's going to run for president, then they're going to hate him and the media's going to like slander him and be absurd. And so I think the longer he waits and the more he just is calm about it, the better it will be if DeSantis runs. But Trump basically said on Fox with Sean Hannity that he's thought about running and he's made up his mind about running. And so that's pretty exciting. Yep. Subscribe, like. I hope you enjoyed these comments or the content. Check out my Instagram at monkeyswithmouths.podcast. I'm also on Spotify, Google Podcasts. I don't know. I'm on Anchor. I post on Anchor, so it's basically, I think they distribute it out to all the other podcasting sites. But yeah, take care. Have a nice day. And don't vote for Kamala Harris because she's terrible at her job.